Okay, perfectly.
This is question number 1. And it says the sum of n terms of the sequence 3, 9, 15, 21 is 7,500. Determine the value of n. And you get 3 marks. So in this question, from the series, topic, sequence and series, which you covered in Form 3. If you are not very familiar with that, you can check on this topic. I have done a video on that. So the first thing you should do is, given a sequence, you should study it and determine whether it is arithmetic or geometric. So if you look at this sequence, we have 3, 9, 15, 21. What has happened to 3 to get to 9? You can add 6. What about if you add 6 to 9? You get 15. 15 plus 6, 21. So this is this is an arithmetic sequence. And therefore, we know, normally we say the first term is, we use A to denote the first term. So our first term is 3. The common difference is denoted by D, and it is 6. It is a number that you add or you subtract to the terms of a sequence. So if you subtract 9 minus 3, you get 6. 15 minus 9, you get 6, and so forth. The importance of studying the sequence is that it helps you to determine the next number and also be able to work out any issue that is asked about the sequence. So in this case, we are supposed to determine n. When we are looking for the sum of n terms in arithmetic sequence, we use this formula. Sn is equals to the sum of the first n terms, n divided by 2. We use that bracket. We say it is 2a plus n minus 1. You multiply by the common difference and you close the bracket. So this is the formula that we use to do that. Now that we have the sum, we have already been given the sum. So we are going to say 7,500, that is the sum of the terms, is equals to, what we are looking is n. You divide by 2 and we open the bracket. This is 2. You multiply by our a is 3. Plus, we don't know n, minus 1, and you multiply by the common difference, which is 6, and you close the bracket. So with that, we should be able to find the value of n. So we can say this is 7,500 is equals to, you multiply this you can say it is n over 2. This is 6. 2 times 3 is 6, plus, we open the bracket, this will give us 6n minus 6, and you close the bracket. So this implies that we can be able to write, this is 6 minus 6 will be 0, that will disappear with that. When you multiply n multiplied by 6n, that will give you n squared. This is supposed to be 2, not n. That's correct. This is 2. So if you divide there, you should be able to get 3n squared is equals to 7,500. You divide by 3, you get n squared is equals to, this is 2,500. Now you get the square root for both sides. You get n is equals to 50. So it means that if you take 50 terms of this sequence, the sum of those terms is equals to, that is 50 terms of this sequence will give you 7,500. And that is how you work out that question. I hope you have followed. This is very important, and also its implementation. So with that, you should be able to get 1 mark here. You get 1 mark for the working here, and 1 mark for the answer. Question number 2. We are told a quadratic curve passes through the points minus 1, 0 and 1, 0. Find the equation of the curve in the form y is equals to ax squared plus bx plus c, where a, b, and c are constant. Right. What do we know about quadratic curves? If we can use a simple illustration here, we can say that is a Cartesian plane. Then a quadratic curve is of that form, or the other, or you can draw it the other way around, facing upside down. So normally when we are solving, we say this value of x. This is the value of x. We can say that is x1. Where the graph cuts the x-axis, this is the x-axis and this is y. Those are the factors. So we can say x is equals to, that is, because now the points here are, this is 1 and 0, and this is minus 2 and 0. We can say the value of x is either minus 2 or 1. And therefore, we can be able to write this in the reverse of it, that in terms of the factors, and say, then we can write our function is equals to, then it should have been x plus 2, and we say it is x minus 1. This is because now when you equate y is equals to 0, then we would say, actually we can put here y is 0 here. This is our x is equals to 0, so that when we say x is equals to minus 2 or x is equals to 1. So now that because we are looking for the function, we say y is equals to, we open the, we say it is x plus 2, and here we say it is x minus 1. We open the bracket, then we have y is equals to x times x, that will give us x squared. This will be x multiplied by minus x, that will give us minus x. Then we have 2 multiplied by x, that will give us plus 2x. And we have 2 multiplied by minus 1, that will give us minus 1. So finally we have y is equals to x squared. Then we have minus x plus x, that will give us positive x. And this will be minus 2. So that is the equation that you get. You can simplify, you can omit some of these steps. It's not a must if you are able to move from here to here, but the marks are awarded as follows. So you are given 1 mark for being able to write the function in that form, and 1 mark for the answers. This is question number 3. So we are told make D the subject of the formula. P is equals to a half mn squared minus qd squared, or divided by n. So what you do is, this is the D that we need to make the subject of the formula. So we can start by taking this, the whole of this, across the equal sign. Once you take it across the equal sign, this sign here will change to positive. Then we take P across the equal sign, the sign changes to positive. So this one will change to negative. This one will change to negative. So we can write it and say, this is the same as q d squared all over divided by n, which is positive, is equals to a half m n squared. Then p becomes negative, so we have minus p. So once we have that, we want to leave d on this side and everything else to the other side. That is how making d the subject means. So we can multiply both sides by n. So we can multiply by n and multiply the other side by n, like that. So this n here will disappear with that. And then we have q squared, qd squared is equals to, we multiply here. When you multiply here, you'll be able to get a half m. Because we have n squared, it will be n cubed. Then we have minus pn or np, whichever you start with is okay. We can divide both sides by q so that we get rid of q. I'm just doing a step by step, but you can combine this. So just to make sure that you understand. Then we have d squared is equals to, now we will have, if you have a half, this is mn cubed, and then we have minus, this is pn all over divided by q. Because we want to have 1d on this side, we get the square root for both sides. So we have our d is equals to the square root of a half mn cubed, okay? And then we have minus pn or np, whichever we start with is okay. Then you divide by q. So you can see now we have managed to put d on one side alone and the other, all the other variables on the other side. So that is what is expected, and that is how we make formula, a certain subject or a certain variable of a formula, the subject of that formula, having it on one side and all the others on the other side. So that's how you do that, and you get yourself 3 marks. So the 3 marks you'll be awarded. Once you get to these, let's say you get to that, you get the method mark. Once you get to this point, you get the method mark. And once you get to this, you get the answer mark. They total to 3. That's how you do that question. Solve the equation. 2 log x minus log into bracket x minus 2 is equals to 2 log 3. So in this question, you are going to apply the rules of this is the rules of logarithms, and we have 3 of them, but I've just mentioned where we need to apply each of them where necessary. So we can look at the first part here. We have a rule that says if we have the logarithm of a to power m can be written as m the logarithm of a. So because now this is, and you can, if we start with this one, we write it as this one. Therefore, this one can be written as the logarithm of x squared. That is the rule. That, and actually this is the third rule of logarithms. We come to the second one. The second one will not change. So we have the logarithm of x minus 2, which is equals to this other one. We still apply the same rule. So we say this is the logarithm of 3 squared. So we have applied that rule, which is the third rule. Then there is a rule that says, or that where we say that if we have the logarithm of a over b together, this is the same as the logarithm of a minus the logarithm of b. So we can use that in this, that is, write it in this format, and therefore we can say this is the same as the logarithm of, we say it is x squared divided by x minus 2, because the sign here is negative, which is equals to the logarithm of 3 squared. Now we can get the anti-logarithm of both sides. Get the argument, it is the same as just cancelling the logarithm, getting the anti-logarithm. So we'll be left with x squared, let's correct that, x squared, all this is divided by x minus 2 is equals to 3 squared. So you can now reorganize your equation, and you have, we can clear this for space. We have already used that. So we can say this can be written as x squared is equals to, we cross multiply, so it is 3 squared is the same as 9, so it is 9x. Then we have minus 18 is that is minus 18. So we bring this 9x to this side. We have x squared. It changes to minus. We have 9x, and 18 changes to positive. So we have plus 18 is equals to 0. This is a quadratic equation. And you can use the factorization method, and you'll be able to write the factors x minus 6, and we have x minus 3 is equals to 0. If you open this, you'll still be able to get that. So we'll say x is equals to 6, or x is equals to 3. And if you substitute x, the value of x to be 6 here, you'll be able to find out they are the same. Or if you subtract 3, you'll still be able to find that they are the same. So that is how you work out that. So if you get to this point, let's go to max wording. If you get to this point, you get a method 1. Then when you get to and if you're able to remove the logarithm, you get another mark, and you get a mark for the answer. This is answer mark. So you get a total of 3 marks. So that's how you work out that about the logarithms. Question number 5. Using a pair of compasses and ruler only, construct an inscribed circle to touch side XZ of triangle XYZ drawn below. So we have our triangle XYZ. We are supposed to draw an inscribed circle touching X and Z. And we are instructed to use a pair of compasses and a ruler only. So you don't use any other instrument. That should be enough. So we are going to extend the line YZ and the line XY, and then we bisect the angles. So let's do that. So place your ruler on the YZ, and you draw a line joining that point Z, and then we are going to place our ruler on XY. Draw the line joining X, like that, and then we are going to bisect this angle and this angle. Where the two bisector meets, then that is will be the center of the circle. Place your compass here, the sharp end you place it here, and then you make a mark here. So that is your mark. You also do that the same to the other side, and you have your mark there. So we are going to use these 2 points to bisect the line. Place your compass on one of the mark here, and you make another arc here. So this is the arc. Change the compass to this point and make another mark. Make another mark here. So you draw a line from Z and passes through this mark here, the cross section of the two arcs. You come up with a straight line. So with your ruler touching Z and the point that we have, the 2 points have crossed, you draw a straight line. So this is a straight line that touches Z. You repeat the same process at point Z, and you also, so the two lines will intersect at a certain point. So let's do that. So place your compass here, and with the compass at that point, you make another mark here. So this is what you do, that mark, and you repeat the same to the other side. So you make another mark here, that mark, and we are going to use the 2 points to make 2 arcs. Use your compass here, the sharp end at this new point, and using the other side, you rotate your compass and you come up with that. So with that, we can use the other point that we had made, and we make a mark. So with that, we come up with a cross section there, and now we are going to use a ruler to join this point to make a straight line through that point, where the line will meet with this other line. So let's do that. So with your ruler placed there, this point X and this other intersecting point, you draw a straight line like that, and then you see the 2 lines have intersected at this point. So that will be the center of the circle. Now, when you have the center of the circle, you need to know the radius. Okay, some of the students approximate, that is, you put your compass here and you extend to where it will touch X and Y, but the best way is to draw a perpendicular line from there. Here, this point we can label it O. Draw a perpendicular line to XZ, and that will give us the radius of the circle. So let's go ahead and do that. So with your compass at this point, you make a mark here, and you'll be able to come up with an arc like that. You change the position of your compass, and you use that, and you make another mark there. So we are going to join this line and these 2 arcs to come up with a perpendicular line to XZ. So with your ruler here, you draw a straight line here, joining XZ, and that will be a perpendicular line to XZ. Perpendicular here means it is a right angle. It is make a right angle with the XZ, and you can confirm that with your protractor to see whether it is 90, and you can see with the protractor that angle is 90. So this is the center of the circles. We are going to use a compass to draw a circle, and that circle will touch the 3 lines. So let's do that. So with your compass touching the center of the circle, which is O, and the radius that we have constructed here, I'm going to make a circle using that radius, and now you find that the circle touches the 3, that is X and Y, and the extended line. So this is what we call an ascribed circle. This is what we call an ascribed circle, which you did in Form 3. And therefore, once you do all that, when you are doing it using manually, that is using your compass and a ruler, you should be a bit faster. But for this one, I'm using the computers, and therefore it can take some time. So with that, now you get 3 marks there, and you get to part B, measure the radius of the circle. With the circle now, the second part is you measure the radius. So you measure the radius from there, that is from the center of the circle to where we have either you can measure this line, or you measure the length from here to here. That will give us the radius, and you find that the radius is equals to 3.1 plus or minus 0. That is, you can say 0.1, and there you will be able to get a mark for that, and here you get 3 marks. So this is how the marks are distributed. Mark for extending, that is that will give you 1 mark, extending the two lines. So we can say this is a half actually. This will also give you a half. You get another mark for bisecting, so that is that. So you can say here you get a half and here you get a half, those two. Then we have another mark for the circle, so they will get one mark there. So they total to 3. The marks are added there, and then you add 1. So the total you'll be able, so here you get 1 mark. So you get a total of 4 marks for this question. So that is how you do that question. So you should be comfortable using your geometrical set, and that is why you are advised to have it when you join Form 1, so that by the time you are doing your Kcse, you have mastered to use all the instruments that are in your geometrical set. So I hope you have understood the process, and that is how we do that kind of a question. Question number 6. The equation of a circle is given by x squared plus 4x plus y squared minus 2y minus 4 is equals to 0. Determine the center and the radius of the circle. So before we go to this question, we need to understand that the equation of a circle, we have x squared plus y squared is equals to r squared. This is r, where r is the radius of the circle. This is when the center of the circle is at 0, 0, or what we refer to as the origin. Then we have the equation in this format: x minus a squared plus y minus b squared is equals to r squared. This is when the center, this is the center, center is at a and 0 and b, that is the coordinates of the center of the circle. And therefore what we need here is to, the expression that we have been given here is to write it in this format, so that we will be able to get the center, and also we will be able to get the radius. So r is the radius. So what we do here is we rearrange this equation. So we can start with x squared, and we say it is plus 4x. So for us to factorize, we need to complete the square here. And how do we complete the square? We normally add half the coefficient of x. So it is this 4 divided by 2 and you square. So that will give us a perfect square. Plus, here we have y squared minus 2y. To make it a complete square, we need to add half the coefficient of y. So it is minus 2 divided by 1 into bracket squared. So that will give us a perfect square. Then this 4, we take it across the equal sign, it becomes 4. Now, once you get 4, then we say, because here we have added 4 over 2 squared, we also do the same to the other side, 4 over 2 into bracket square, and we also add what we have added here, minus 2 over 1 into bracket square. That is to balance both sides, because here we have added this, we also do the same to the other side. So this will give us x plus, when you divide 4 divided by 2, you get 2. So that is a perfect square for this expression here. Then we say plus, this will give us y. This is minus 1 into bracket square. If you expand that, you'll be able to get that quadratic expression, and this is equals to, so this will be 2. This is 2 squared, that 4 divided by 2 is 2 squared is 4, though that is 8, and this is minus, so 2 divided by 2 is minus 1 square, it becomes 1, so this is 9. And therefore, from what we had mentioned here, we will be able to get, then you note here when we put a minus a, the center of the value of this of x at the center of the circle is positive. So this means that the center is minus, because here it is 2, we will say it is minus 2. Here it is minus 1, so it will be positive 1. Here is r squared, so it means r squared is equals to 9, implying that r is equals to the square root of 9 is plus or minus. That is, we get the square root for both sides. This will be plus or minus. That will give us plus or minus 3. But radius is actually a measurement, so we cannot say that we have the magnitude of the radius of our circle is minus 3. So it means the radius is equal. So in terms of getting the marks, you'll be able to get 1 mark there. So that is the bonus. We call it a bonus point. Maybe I can put it like that. Bonus mark. Then you get a bonus mark here. Again, you get a bonus mark for getting the radius. We have said the radius is 3 and the center is minus 2, 0. So there, both of them you get another mark bonus point. So in total, you'll be able to get 3 marks. And that is how you work out that question. If you are not sure, or there is something that you have not followed, just go to where check the video of how we generate the equation of a circle and how the examples that I have worked on this. So we have question number 7, 2013. Paper 2, we are told A, expand 1 minus x to power 5, you get 1 mark. We have B, use the expansion in A up to the term x cubed to approximate the value of 0.98 to power 5, and you get 2 marks. So we learned this in Pascal triangle. We were able to get the coefficient of this expansion. You can also check in your 4-figure table at the back pages. There is a table that shows you the coefficient. You can also generate the coefficient using the Pascal triangle, but to save time in an exam, you just check and you'll be able to get the coefficient 1, 5, we have 10, we have 10, we have 5, and we have 1. So when we are expanding, so we say 1 minus x to power 5, we use a coefficient not to expand, and we start with 1. So 1 is raised to power 5. So, but when 1 is raised to power anything, it remains 1. So here we have a minus. When we have a minus sign, we alternate. But if you can still put plus, whereby we have x will be negative. So we use the first coefficient. 1 will be to power 4 and x will be to power 1. So when you add 1 plus 4, you get 5. So the reason why we have minus x here is because we would have used minus x here. So when you multiply this, you would have ended up to be minus. So we just do that to simplify. So we have plus. I've said we alternate negative and positive. So you have the coefficient is 10. 1 is raised to power 3. It decreases to 3. And x is increased to 2. So we use minus. The other coefficient is 10 here. So we have 1. Okay, it's not a must to put 1 here, but because when you raise it to power, anything is 1. But I just want to do that for convenience so that you understand how we are getting that. So you get x cubed. So we have plus. The coefficient there is 5. Now we have 1 to power 1. And we have this is power 5, and we have x to power 1, and finally we have minus. Now we have x. Since here the coefficient is 1, you don't just put, you don't use that. When you multiply anything by 1 is the same as 1, and x will be to power 5. So we can write it properly and say this is 1 minus. Now this will be 5x. Then we have plus, this will be 10x to power 2. Then we have minus, here we have 10x to power 3. We have plus, okay, here I think we forgot there. So we have 5x to power 4, and we have minus x to power 5. Now we have the expansion, that is, so there you'll be able to get 1 mark. So there you get 1 mark for that. Part B, we are told to use that to expand, to approximate this up to the term x cubed. So what you do here is you rewrite 0.98 to power 5 is the same as 1 minus 0.02 to power 5. The same, because if you subtract 1 minus 0.02, it will give you 0.98. So we have not changed anything. And because we are told to expand that to x to power 3, this is where we have x to power 3. So we say it is 1. Now what you do is, instead, because now our x is represented by 0.02, you multiply. You replace x with that, with 0.02, and this will be minus. Now it will be 5. We use dot for multiplication, 0.02 now instead of x here. So we just replace x. So we have here 10, and here we have 0.02 now raised to power 2. Then we have minus. Now this is now we have plus minus. This will be 10 multiplied by 0.02, and this is cubed. And because we are on the next is plus, we can continue, but because we are told to look for the go up to x cubed, even here we should have okay, we now you can now use your calculator to do this. And when you multiply, you get 1 plus, that is not correct, so we have minus. When you multiply 5 times 0.02, you get 0.1. Then we have plus, this will give you 0.04. That is when you multiply 10 times 0.02 squared. Then we have minus, this one will give you 0.0008 plus. So when you compute that, use your calculator, you'll be able to get it is 0.90392. So that is the correct answer, and you'll be able to get 2 marks for that. So you'll be able to get 1 mark for the expansion and the computation there, and you get 1 mark for the answer. So that is how you answer such question. Question number 8. The position vectors of f, g, and h are f, g, and h respectively. Point H divides fg in the ratio 4:1. Express h in terms of f and g. Now this question is from vectors 2, which you learned in form 3, and we can use a diagram to represent that. This is the theorem. So what we do is we draw a straight line here, and we say this line is can be labeled f. We can put here it is g. Let's use a capital G. So we correct that. So this is G and this is H. So we say this is a position vector. So we can draw the position vectors F, G, and H. So this is the origin. So this is vector F, this is vector G, and this is vector H. So using the ratio theorem, we have been given the ratio is 4:1. In real sense, it means that this is 3 and this is 1. But because we are saying, actually here we can say H divides FG externally in the ratio 4 is to minus 1. So we are taking now, using the ratio theorem, we take the ratio of F to H and we put the position vector G and J to H, and we take the position vector F. That is how you apply the ratio theorem. So from there we will say then the vector H is equals to, now here we use this ratio here because we are comparing or we are talking of how H divide Fg. So we say it is from here to here, it is 4. That is 3 plus 1. It is 4. You divide by, now we add 4 plus minus 1. So we say it is 4 plus minus 1. And this we take the vector G, because we are talking of this position vector. So that is a position vector G, plus the other one is minus 1 divided by, we add 4 plus minus 1, which is, and here we put the vector F, because we take the opposite vectors here. You can check that in the topic of vectors. That is a part where we have the ratio theorem. So this will give us, when you add, this will be 4 divided by 4 plus minus 1 is 3, and this will give us our vector, not F but G. Then we have plus, this will be minus 1 divided by 3, and that is the vector, we talk of the vector F, which we can write, it is 4 over 3, this is G, minus 1 over 3F. So that is how you express H in terms of F and G. That is applying the ratio theorem. And that's how you work out the such questions. You can check in your Form 3 course, or you can check on the topic vectors 2, which you did in Form 3. I hope you have. Question number 9. Two machines M and N produce 60% and 40% respectively of the total number of items manufactured in a factory. It is observed that 5% of the items produced by machine M are defective, while 3% of the items produced by machine N are defective. If an item is selected at random from the factory, find the probability that it is defective. From here, then what we can say is that this is from probability, and we can use two methods, that is the tree diagram or without the tree diagram. So let me start with the first one. We'll say the probability that an item is defective, we can use that D, is equals to either the product is produced by machine M and it is defective, probability that it is defective when it is produced by M, or it is a probability that the machine is produced by N and it is defective, that is a probability that it is defective when it is produced by machine N. I'm using Dn to represent defective while produced by N, and Dm defective if it is produced by machine M. So this is equals to, we are told that the probability that an item is produced by machine M is 60 over 100. That is what percentage here means. When you have add, we multiply. The other one is 5%. It is defective, so it is 5 over 100. That's what percentage means. When you have or, we add. So they have the other one is 40 over 100. Then you have multiply. We have 3% is defective, so 3 divided by 100. which we can simplify and say this is 0.6, this one. You multiply by 0.05, then you add 2, this is 0.4, and you multiply by 0.03. So this is equals to, when you multiply here, you can use your calculator here, no problem, and you'll be able to get this is equals to 0.042, and you get that. So once you get that, you'll be able to get 3 marks, and you'll be able to get 1 mark here, 1 mark for identifying that, writing that fraction, and get this. So this is 1 mark, this is 1 mark, and the answer is 1 mark. So that is add up to 3 marks. So that is how you work out that question. Let's have a look at how you work it out using now the tree diagram. You can also use the tree diagram. In fact, I like the tree diagram most when I'm solving questions on probability. So you draw your tree diagram like this. You start by what is the probability that an item is produced using machine M or machine N. So we put M here and N here. Since we are told the probability that an item is produced by M is 60%, 60% is the same as 0.06, that is 60 over 100, 0.6. The other one is 40, so it is 0.4, or what we can say, it is 40 over 100. When you simplify, you get 0.4. An item is defective when it is produced by M. We draw at the second level, so we can use D for defective and D prime for not defective. So the probability that it is defective is 5%, which we can say it is 0.05. You can also write it in terms of fraction if you want, and this one is 0.95. So when you add these two, they should add up to 1. This is that is when it is not defective. The other branch, we have N. An item is defective, not defective. So an item is defective, we are told it is 0.3 here. Here it is 0.3. So this is 0.03, and this is 0.97. Remember, when you add these two, they should add up to 1. Now, with that, since we are told that to find the probability that when an item is selected at random, it is defective. So we say, 1, we follow this. An item is produced by machine M and it is defective. So this is M and it is defective. Or a machine is produced by machine N and it is defective. So it is N and it is defective. Here we are not, okay, we are talking of defective, so we use D. So we say that the probability of picking an item is defective is equals to the probability of being produced by D and it is defective, or probability of being produced by N and it is defective. So this is equals to, we have seen this is 0.6, that is 0.6 multiplied by, when you have add, it is you multiply 0.05. This is plus when you have or. The other one is 0.4, and you multiply by 0.03, which now you can use your computer, your calculator rather, and you'll be able to get, when you multiply this, you get it is 0.042 when you compute that. So that is how you work out that. And in terms of awarding of marks, you'll be awarded marks for the tree diagram. Here you get 1 mark. Here you get 1 mark for writing that. the combination, and finally for your answer totaling to 3 marks. So that is how you work out that using the tree diagram. Number 10. It's a very simple question. We are told 2 taps A and B can fill an empty tank in 3 hours and 2 hours respectively. A drainage tap R can empty the full tank in 6 hours. Tap A and R are open for 5 hours, then closed. Part A, determine the fraction of the tank that is still empty. B, find how long it would take to fill the remaining fraction of the tank if all the taps are opened. Now, the first thing here we need to do is to understand this information. And once you understand this information, anytime you get such a question, it will be very easy for you. Now, we are told tap A, fill the tank in 3 hours, tap B, fill the tank in 2 hours. What that means is that if we draw a sample tank here, like that, and we divide into 3 equal parts, like that, it means tap A, this is 1 hour. That is, it will fill the tank a third of that, another hour, and this is the third hour. Okay, so it means in 1 hour it will fill a third of that tank. Tap B, fill the tank in 2 hours. Meaning, if we draw the tank, a sample tank, just like this one, we divide it into 2 equal parts. Then it means this is tap A, this is tap B. In 1 hour, it will fill a half of that tank, and in 1 hour, it will fill the other half. What does that mean? It means that if these two taps are open at the same time, then we have this will fill a third of the tank, which is a third, and this will fill a half of the tank. So you should have add a half. That is, this is a fraction of the tank. So this part here, if I may use another, so it means this part here and this part here is the amount of water that will be in the tank. So it means our tank will have, this is the third, like that. This is water, and then a half of what is. So this is what will be filled by A, and this is what will be filled by B. I think that once you understand that, then this question will be very easy for you. Let's look at R. We are told that tap R can empty the tank in 6 hours. This means that if we draw a sample tank and we divide the same tank, we divide it into 6 equal parts. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we add another one. So it means this is R. In 1 hour, this can use a different color. In 1 hour, this will be removed from the tank. So it means that if we open all the taps, then this is 1/6, which you can say it is minus because it is removing the water. So if all the taps are opened, then it means the water that will be in the tank in 1 hour will be a third plus a half minus 1/6. And once you understand that information, then this will be very easy question for you. For example, determine the fraction of the tank that was still empty. When A and R are open for 5 hours, we need to find what part of the tank was empty. And so now let's go to the actual working of the question and see how you are supposed to do that. So now we look at part A. Like I have explained, when A and R are open for 5 hours, I have said when you open A, what it means, because it is filling the tank in 3 hours, in 1 hour it will fill a third of the tank. And then when you have R open, this is A, and R is open, it will empty a sixth of the of the water in the tank. What this means is that the water that will be when you combine these two, then you have the tank. This is a third, and you subtract a sixth of what has been removed by R. So this is what the tank that is remaining in the tank. So we are required to find out the empty part here. Now what we need to do is to find out the amount of water that was retained in the tank when the two taps are open. So this is how we do that. So we start with A. So A is filling a third of the tank minus 1/6, what is being removed by R. And it is the taps are open for 5 hours, so you multiply by 5 hours, and this will be able to get, okay, you can get the LCM here. It is 6. 6 divided by 3 is 2, minus 6 divided by 6 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1, and this you multiply by 5, and this will give you, this is 1/6, and this will give you 5/6. When you multiply by 5, you get 5/6. So we take 1 is when the tank is full. You subtract the water that was in the tank to get the empty part, and this will give you 1/6. So a sixth of the tank was a part that was empty. And once you do that, then you should be able to get 2 marks. So you get a bonus mark for the answer, and you also get a bonus mark for this. All right, so once you do that, let's you go to B. Part B of the question: find how long it would take to fill the remaining fraction of the tank if all the taps are opened. If all the taps are opened, then what is the amount that you get into the tank? So A is filling a third, you add 2, B is filling a half, and C and R is emptying 1/6. So we minus that. We can do that, we can compute that by getting the LCM is 6. So you divide by 3, this will give you 2, plus 6 divided by 2 is 3, multiplied by 1, you get 3, minus 1. And this is going to give you, this is 5 minus 5 minus, that will give you 5 minus 1 is 4/6, which is equals to, this is 2/3. So 2/3 of the tank will be full. That is the amount that will enter to the tank. And now, since the remaining part we have seen it is 1/6, so you divide 1/6, you divide by the amount to be filled, which is 2/3, and this you will be able to get 1/6. You multiply by 3/2, and that will give you, this is 2. This is equals to 1/4 an hour of an hour, and 1/4 of an hour is the same as, if you multiply by, that is a quarter of 60 minutes. 60 minutes, this will give you 15 minutes. So this means that it will take 15 minutes to fill the remaining part of the tank, which is 1/6. And by doing that, then you'll be able to get 1 mark for the method. Here you can get 1 mark, method mark, and you get 1 mark for the answer, totaling to 4 marks. So I hope you have followed how we have done that. And any type of a question that has this kind of information, that is how you do it. Hope you have followed that. Join my free online classes, and we'll be able to cover much more. This is 2013 paper 2, question number 11. We are told simplify the expression root 48 divided by root 5 plus root 3, leaving the answer in the form A root B plus C, where A, B, and C are integers, and you get 3 marks. So the first thing you do is you can write 48. You can write it as 16 multiplied by 3, that is the same as 48. Then you divide by the root of 5, then plus the root of 3. For us to remove the denominator, we multiply by the conjugate of root 5 plus root 3, whereby we just change the operation sign. Instead of plus, we multiply by root 5 minus root 3, and we also divide by root 5 minus root 3. This will help us to remove the surds in the denominator, and at the same time, we have not changed our expression, because if you divide root 5 minus root 3 divide by root 5 minus root 3, it is 1. And when you multiply anything by 1, it remains the same. So when you multiply that, we can start by getting the root of 16, which is 4, the root of 3. Then this is supposed to multiply by root 5 minus root 3. So we can leave that one like that for the time being. Then this you multiply root 5 times root 5, that will give you 5. Root 5 times minus root 3, that will give you minus root 5 minus root 3. And then root 3 multiplied by root 5, that will be plus root 5 root 3. And finally, we have root 3 multiplied by minus root 3 will give you positive 3. So that is, if you multiply two roots, that is root 3 multiplied by root 3, that is supposed to give you a whole number. So you can see here that we can, this root 5 minus root 5 plus root 5 will disappear, and that means that we will be left with the 5 minus 2, which we can say, and then we multiply. Before we do that, let's just write it like that so that we simplify up there. So root 5 minus root 3, and this is divided by 2. So we can divide by 2 here. We divide by 2, 4 by 2, then we get 2 disappear, that is 2. Now we can open the bracket now and say that we have root 2 multiplied by root 3, and we open the bracket root 5. Then we have minus 2 root 3. Instead of putting root 3 multiplied by minus root 3, that will give us the 3. And so we multiply 2 times 3, we get 6 there. And this is divided by 1, so we don't need to put that. So we can now simply say this is equals to 2. We combine the surds, that is root 5. This is the same as writing 3 times 5 under the same root sign minus 6. And therefore, finally, we have 2, the root of 15 minus 6. So we have achieved what we have been required by writing our expression in this format. And now where our A is 2, B is 15, and C is minus 6. So that is how you do that question. I've taken some time because I'm explaining, but this is something that should take you maybe 1 or 1.5 minutes to complete. So that's how you do that question. Thank you for watching. This is question number 12, and we are told a point P moves inside a sector of a circle, center O, and chord AB such that OP is greater than 2 centimeter, less than 3 centimeter, and angle APB is equals to 65. Draw the locus of P. So here I have drawn a sketch whereby I have measured. You draw two circles. One is 3 centimeter, like this one, 3 centimeter. The other one is 2 centimeter, and the inner one should have, you draw it using a dotted line, such that now P will lie in this region. But we have also been told the angle subtended at the circumference is 65. So the angle subtended at the center is 130, twice this angle. So you measure, you make a line here, measure an angle of 130, and you'll be able to get the chord AB. So that is the procedure. What you need here is you need a ruler, you need a compass, and you need a protractor to be able to do that. So let's start and do that, and now construct the actual diagram. Now with that in mind, what we need here, we need a ruler, and we need a compass and a protractor. So this is my ruler, and this is my compass. Because of the limitation of my compass, I'm going to use a scale of instead of 2 centimeter, I'm going to take 4, and instead of 3, I'm going to make 6 centimeter. So this is the first part that represents a circle that would be 2 centimeter. Let's use the same point to measure 6 centimeter. So that will represent. Before we do that, let's first of all draw the circle of 6 centimeter. So you make that circle like this. So that is 6 centimeter, which is 3 centimeter. So that is a circle. Again, we want to draw the angle at the circle, which is 2 centimeter. I'm using that scale because my protractor cannot go I'm not able to measure 2 centimeter. So that's why I have doubled, but still the same. So for this one, what we are going to do is because of this sign less than, greater than, you need to draw a dotted circle, meaning that the locus of P is not part of the circumference of this circle. So let's do that. When you are doing it manually, it becomes easier, but for this one, I'm just guiding you how to go about it. So this, when using a computer, it takes some time to do that. So let's draw that circle. So with your compass, you should be able to do that easily, not like when I'm using the computer here, but at least we have managed that. So this is a circle that we have demonstrated here. So now we have said that we need to measure an angle of 130 here so that we get the position of A. So actually we can use a ruler to do that. We first of all we need to draw one line. So this line here, you'll be able to get that. Once you do that, then you can use your protractor and be able to measure an angle of 130. So this is a protractor. If you place it there, then you will be able to measure an angle of 130, somewhere there. Let me get it correct. And that so we can take that point. This is where we have our angle 130. Now with that, you take a ruler and you now join the 2 points to come up with a line which indicates it's a 130. So you put it there and you draw this line. You draw a line there. So that is the line that we need. meaning that this angle here, let's put this things out there. So meaning that this angle here is 130 degrees, and therefore this region here is where the P lies. So this region here is the locus of P. You can shade that like that, like that. This is the locus of P, which satisfies the given condition. So this is where we have P. So P could be anywhere within the boundary, within the circumference of the big circle, but not part of the circumference of the small circle. And so that is how you now represent the locus described. So I hope you have followed. That's how you do. This is what you covered in Form 4. That is locus. And you should be able to answer questions related to this kind of work. So this question from 2013 Kcse paper 2, we are told in the table below shows the income tax rate in a certain year. So we have monthly income in Kenyan shillings and tax rate in each shillings. So up to 9,680 you are taxed 10%. From 9,681 to 18,800 you are taxed at the rate of 15%, on and on, and up to over 37,040 you are taxed at 30%. In that year, the monthly personal relief of 1,056 Kenyan shillings was allowed. Calculate the monthly income tax paid by an employee who earned a monthly salary of 32,500 Kenyan shillings. So what we start with is our bracket here. So up to 96.80 you are taxed at the rate of 10%. 10% is the same as 0.1, and that should give you 968. Now with this is a taxable income. So we take the taxable income, and that is 32,500. We minus what we have taxed, which is 9,680. 680. We will be able to get the difference, which is this will give you 0, this will give you 2, this is 8, this is 2, and this is 2. Now we need to go to the next bracket, and to be able to determine the next bracket, we will subtract 18,000, subtract 9,680. So we have 18,800. We subtract 9680, and that will give us this will give us 0, this is 2, this is 1, and that is 9. So our next bracket will be 9,120, and it is being taxed at a rate of 15%, which is 0.15. That is the same as 15 over 100%, means it's over 100. So you multiply that, you get that will give you 13,680. You can confirm, you subtract 27,920, you subtract 18,800, you still be able to get this value. So it means that is the value that we are going to use in our next bracket. We need to subtract 9,120 from our balance here, and that will give us, this will give us 0, 0. We have 7, we have 3, we have 1. So that is the second one. So the next one will be 9120. You multiply by 20%, which is 0.2, can say 0.20, and when you multiply that, you get 1,824. We need to subtract that amount from our balance here. So we subtract 9,000, that is 9,120. Our balance here will give us 0, that is 8, and then this is 5, and this is 4. So we find that this value is below our bracket, so we just multiplied below 9,100. So we say it is 4580. We multiply by the next bracket, which is 0.25, and that will give you, when you multiply that, you get it is 1145. Use a calculator. Now you are supposed to add this, the whole of this, to find the total tax, so that will give you 5305. So you say rest tax that was around that particular year, which is that per monthly relief of 1056, and that will give you a difference of 4,249. So this is the tax that the employee paid to the government every month. So that's how we work out that. This is 2013 Kcse Mathematics paper 2, and this is question number 14. Solve the equation 6 cos squared x plus 7 sin x minus 8 is equals to 0 for the range x is greater or equals to 0, less than or equals to 90. So this is from the topic Trigonometry 3, which you did in Form 4. So for us to be able to solve this, we need to express our equation with one term. That is, you can see here we have cosine of squared x, and here we have sine x. So we need to change either to cosine or sine. You learned this, you learned that sine squared x plus cos squared x is equals to 1. This is an identity. So if we want, we can be able to take sine squared x to the other side. So you have cos squared x. Once it goes to the other side, it becomes minus. So it is 1 minus sine squared x. We are going to use this to substitute cosine x squared. That is cosine squared x, so that will be left with sine. So you come here and you say we have 6. Now we have cos squared x plus 7 the sine of x, and here we have minus 8 is equals to 0. So we now substitute cosine squared x with this one. So we write 6 into bracket. Instead of cosine squared, we write 1 minus sine squared x. We say plus 7 sine x minus 8 is equals to 0. So we have now successfully removed cosine. So we open the bracket, we have 6 times 1 minus 6 the sine squared of x plus 7 the sine of x minus 8 is equals to 0. So once you do that, we can be able to get to minus, that is, we have minus 6 the sine squared x, then we have plus 7 the sine of x. 6 minus 8 is minus 2 is equals to 0. So that we get rid of this minus sign here, so that our equation looks better. So we take everything across the equal sign. So this will be positive. It will be 6 the sine squared of x plus 7 sine x crosses the equal sign becomes minus 7 the sine of x minus 2 check crosses becomes positive 2 is equals to 0. Now this is a quadratic equation. You can work it like this, or you can say let's work it like this. We get 2 now. We multiply 6 times 2. That will give us 12. We get two numbers such that when you add them, you get minus 7, and when you multiply, you get 12. So this will be minus 4 and minus 3. Minus 4 times 3, that is 12. Minus 3 plus minus 3, that will be minus 7. So we rewrite our quadratic equation and say this is 6 the sine of squared of x. Now instead of minus 7 sine x, Here we write it is 4 sine x minus 3 sine x, and then we have plus 2. We have not changed the equation because minus 4 sine x minus 3 sine x will still give you minus 7 sine x. Now we factorize. What is common here is 2 and also sine x. You open the bracket here, so we will be left here with 3 sine x, so that when you open the bracket you still end up with 6 sine squared x. Then here we minus, we have factored out 2, so 2 sine x, so we'll be left with 2. Here we factor out minus 1, so that whatever will be left inside will be the same as what is inside the bracket. Then here we have 3 sine x minus 2 is equals to 0. So we can now write this and say we factor out, this is 3 the sine of x minus 2, and we have then we have 2 the sine of x minus 1 is equals to 0. So with that we can be able to say that if we normally say if the product of these two equals to 0, then it means 3 sine x minus 2 is 0. So if you take 2 to the other side, you find that the sine of x is equals to 2 over 3, or when you take 1 to the other side here, you'll be left with 2 sine x is equals to 1. You divide both by 2, you get or a half. So if you use your calculator here and check the sine inverse, so you say x is equals, so you go and press the button in sine inverse, and you put 2 divided by 3, and you'll be able to get, that will give you 41 and 0.81 degrees. Or which angle gives you a half? You still do the same. Sine inverse of a half, you get it is 30. It is 30. So that is how you get the angle. So this angle, and because we have been restricted to work with the 0 to 90, these are the two angles that satisfy the value of x, which we will be able to solve the equation that we have. If you come here and substitute for x, you put that here and 30, you will be able to get 0. If you put 41.18, 41.18, you still be able to get is minus 8, you'll be able to get is equals to 0. So that's how you work out that question. I hope you have followed. In case you have any question, you can just put your comment down there. I'll be able to see it and assist you where you have not understood the question. This is number 15. Okay, this is question number 15. This is from the Form 4 topic known as about latitude and longitude, distance between two places on the surface of the earth. So the question says, this is number 15, the positions of two towns are 2 degrees to the south, 30 degrees to the north, and 2 degrees to the south, 37.4 degrees to the east. Calculate to the nearest kilometer the distance, the shortest distance between the two towns. So take the radius of the earth to be 6,370 kilometers, and you get 2 marks. Just because we are revising, you can make a sketch here so that I can show you how you normally go about it. So this is the earth. You can say this is the equator there. So we are told this point is 2 degrees to the south, so we can put it there. That is where we have 2 degrees. If we take this is the center of the earth, then we can say this is our A and this is our B. It's just a sketch, and therefore what we are required, okay, we can make the axis here. So the distance at and another line here, the distance that we are required to get is the distance between those two, this distance AB. We can draw a line here from the center, and that this is going to help us get be able to get the formula. So here we can say this is the radius of the earth, this is the radius of the arc at 2 degrees. So this is we can say this is 30 degrees to the that is to the east, and this is 37.4 degrees to the east. So that's how what you get there. So this distance, what we need to get, this is 2 degrees, and therefore to be able to, we normally say, because now this is a right angle here, we can be able to say that the cosine of 2 degrees, that is this angle, is equals to adjacent, which is r, divided by the radius of the earth, which is the hypotenuse. And therefore we normally say this is r is equals to that is a small r, we multiply r both sides, is equals to r the cosine of 2 degrees, or we can call it theta, but in this case we are at 2 degrees to the south. To get the distance between 2 points on the arc or the circumference of the circle, we normally say AB is equals to theta over 360 degrees multiplied by 2 pi, that is the 2 pi r, that is the radius. And because we have found that theta, we know theta is 360 degrees, then we say we multiply by 2 pi, then instead of r, we say this is r, the cosine of 2. So we can now be able to get AB is equals to theta, you get it is 37.4. The difference between this, the angle at the center there, minus 30 degrees divided by 360, that will give us 7 degrees. Then you multiply by 2, you multiply by 22 over 7, you multiply by r, here it is 6370, the cosine of 2 degrees, not 2 degrees. So you can simplify that using a calculator. This will be 7.4 divided by 360 degrees, then you multiply by 2, multiply by 22 over 7, multiply by 6370, the cosine of 2 degrees. Using a calculator, you just say, use your calculator here and say this is 7.4, you divide by 7.4, that is 7.4, you divide by 360, then you say you multiply by 2, then you multiply by pi, inverse pi, then you multiply by 6370, then you multiply by the cosine of 2, and that is giving you, that should give you 820.212121, a recurring, like sort of a recurring decimal. So you just say it is 21. We are told in terms of kilometer, so this is kilometer. So the distance between A and B is 822.21 kilometers, or simply you can say about 822 kilometers. So that's how you work out that. Very important for you to be, when you are working in a different longitude, that is latitude, apart from the equator, you remember to convert the radius here. This is how you convert the radius of the small circle in terms of the radius of the earth, and that's how you do that. This is 2013 paper 2 number 16, and we are told the vertices of triangle T are A 1 2, B 4 2, and C 3 4. The vertices of triangle T plane the image of T are A prime, a half 1, B prime 2, 1, and C prime 3, 2. Determine the transformation matrix M is equals to A, B, C, D that maps T onto T prime, and you get yourself 3 marks. So what we do here is that because we have the transformation matrix A, B, C, D, if we write A, B, C, and D, and we multiply by the matrix which we can form using the coordinates of our image, the 3 points, and this will be 1, 2, this is 4, 2, and this is 3, 4, should give us the matrix which will be formed using the coordinates of the image, which will give us, this is a half, 1, this is 2, 1, and this is 3 over 2, and we have 2. So this is going to help us get our A, B, C, D. So from there, we multiply. A times 1 is A, and B times 2 is 2B, so that will give us A plus 2B. The other one will give us 4A plus 2B, and the other one will give us 3A plus 4B. So the other row, we have C plus 2D, we have 4C plus 2D, and we have 3C plus 4D. So that matrix is equals to this matrix, which is that is equals to this is equals to the matrix I have 1, 2, 1, and 3 over 2, 2. So when we equate the matrices, then we say the elements are of the equivalent elements are equal. So this is equals to that, and we use a simultaneous equation. So we can just write this is 4A plus B plus 2B 2B is equals to this element. These two are the same, so this is 2. Then this A plus 2B is equals to a half. So these are simultaneous equation. We subtract so that we eliminate B, and that will give us 3A is equals to 2 minus a half is 1.5, which is the same as 3 over 2, implying that our A is equals to a half. If A is a half, then we can say we can substitute our A in the second equation and say a half plus 2B is equals to a half. So subtract a half from both sides, this will be 0. So 2B is equals to 0, implying that our B is equals to 0. From there, we now go to the other part. We use this and that to get our C and D. So you have 4C plus 2D is equals to 1, and we have C plus 2D is equals to 1. You subtract, you get this is 3C is equals to 0, implying that C is equals to 0. And when you substitute our 0 here, C is equals to 0, you get that our D is equals to a half. So our matrix is equals to a half, 0, 0, and a half. So that is our matrix A, B, C, and D. So that's how you do that question. The important part here is you should be able to know that when you multiply the transformation matrix with the matrix formed by the coordinates of the object is equals to the matrix formed by the coordinates of the image. Question number 17. This is section 2 50 marks. You are supposed to answer questions, only 5 questions from this section in the spaces provided. So once you get, each question is 10 marks. So this one, number 17, the hire purchase HP price of a public address system was 276,000. A deposit of 60,000 Kenyan shillings was paid by followed by 18 equal monthly installment. The cash price of the public address was 10% less than the higher purchase price. Part A, calculate Roman number 1, the monthly installment. Now, let's start with that. You can see the higher purchase is 270. So to get the amount that was paid in monthly installment, we just say 276,000. You minus 60,000, and that when you minus that, you should be able to use your calculator. You get 216,000, and since the number of installment were 18 equal monthly installment, then 216,000 you divide by 18, and you'll be able to get the monthly installment was 12,000 using your calculator. Just arranging it like that because of space. Roman number 2, the cash price. We are told that the cash price was 10% less than higher purchase. So this is a higher purchase, that is 276,000. That is the higher purchase. So we divide by 100%, and since it was 10% less, you multiply by 90%. So you compute that, you should be able to get 248,400. So this is the cash price, which is 10% less than the higher purchase. We go to part B of the question. A customer decided to buy the system in cash and was allowed a 5% discount on the cash price. He took a bank loan to buy the system in cash. The bank charged compound interest on the loan at the rate of 20% per annum. The loan was repaid in 2 years. Calculate the amount repaid to the bank by the end of the second year. Since it is compound interest, what we do is the amount to be paid. Let's use this amount is equals to the principal. Before we compute the amount, since the customer was around 5% discount, let's get the amount the customer paid. So it is 248,400. You divide by 100 and you multiply by 95. So this will give you, if you use your calculator, you'll be able to get 235,980. So after being around 5% discount, this is what the customer was to pay, and therefore this is what the customer took from the bank, and therefore we say amount is equals to, so this is the principal, 235,980. You open the bracket, we have 1 plus the percentage was 20, so you use a formula that we use for compound interest. So this is divided by 100, and the time to repay the loan was 2 years. So you can compute that using your calculator. So you multiply 235,980. This will be 1.2 raised to power 2, or 1.2 squared. And you can be able to calculate that, compute that in your calculator, and you'll be able to get 339,811 and 20 cents. So that is a amount of money that was paid to the bank. Part C expresses a percentage of higher purchase, the difference between the amount repaid to the bank and the higher purchase price. So this is the amount that was paid. The hire purchase was 276,000. So let's start with the amount that the customer paid to the bank. So it is 339,811 and 20 cents. You minus 276,000. That is the amount that was to be paid in. There is a higher purchase. When you subtract that, you should be able to get 68,811 and 20 cents. So we are supposed to make to compute this as a percentage of the higher purchase. So what you do, you say 68,811 and 20 cents. You divide by the higher purchase, which is 276,000, and you multiply by 100. So that will give you the percentage of the higher purchase, the difference between the amount you paid to the bank. You compute that, you should be able to get 23.12%, and that is how you work out that. So with that, then here you should be able to get 1 mark there and 1 mark there, 2 marks. Here you get a mark and you get a mark there. Those are 4 marks. Here you get 3 marks. So you should get a mark for that, mark for that, and mark for the answer. And then here you get 3 marks. Then you should be able to get a mark there, a mark there, and a mark for the answer. And that will total up to 10. So I hope this is what you covered in Form 3, Commercial Arithmetics. So this formula is very important, the formula for computing the amount accrued when we are being charged compound interest. So that's how you do that, and I hope you have followed that. This is question number 18, 2013 Kcse Mathematics Paper 2. It is from the Form 3 topics, chords and tangents. So the question says, in the figure below, PR is the diameter of the circle center O. So we have our PR here. PQR and S are on the circumference of the circle. So we have PQRS on the circumference of the circle. Angle PRQ is 72. PRQ, we are given that angle there. QS is equals to QP. QS is equals to QP. So those two lines are the same. And USV is a tangent to the circle. USV is a tangent. So giving reasons, calculate the size of angle QPR. Where is angle QPR? QPR. So this is the angle that we are interested in. Now, we can be able to do that. You see, we have been told that PR is the diameter, and therefore it means that this angle here is 90. A diameter makes an angle of 90 at the circumference. Therefore, 72, so we can start by saying PQR. We can say angle PQ is equals to 90 degrees because PR is the diameter, implying that, this is part A of the question, implying that we have P, that is QPR is equals to, the two angles add up to 90, so it is 90 minus 72 degrees, and this should give you 18 degrees. So here you will be able to get 2 marks. Part B of the question, we are told we get the size of PQS. PQS. So this angle here, this is the one that we are interested in, PQS. Now that angle, what we do is that we know PSQ is 72, angle subtended by the same chord PQ. So we say we have PQ. The PQ subtends this angle, and it also subtends this angle. So angle that this is called PQ. It subtends this angle, which is 72, and it also subtends this. Angles subtended by the same chord are the same. So this is 72, the whole of this angle. If that angle is 72, it means that this angle we have found it is 18. So what it means is that the whole of this angle is 72, because PQS is an isosceles triangle. PQ is the same as QS. So we say that, what we can say is that to give reason, PSQ is equals to 72. You can say same chord, PQ, same chord, subtended by the same chord. This means that PS is also 72 degrees. So we can say isosceles triangle. This is a isosceles triangle. I'm writing in short form because of space. This implies that since PQS is a triangle, then it means PQS is like that. PQS is equals to 180 minus 2 multiplied by 72. This should give you 180 minus 144, which will give you 36 degrees. So it means this angle here is 36 degrees. So that is, you have given reasons. Let's come here and have a look at C. Our C, we are supposed to find OQS. So OQS, it is this angle here. Now, already we know this angle is 18, and OQ and OP are the same. That is the radius. Therefore, this angle here is 36, not 36, but 18. 18, the same as this angle, and therefore this angle is 18. So OQS is 18. So you say OQS is equals to 36. Let's put it here, down here, is equals to 36 minus 18 is equals to 18 degrees. You can say base angles of isosceles triangle. Base angles of isosceles triangle. So that is how you answer that. So there you also get 2 marks. We have given reason. Then what do we have here? We have our D here. Our D, we are supposed to get RTS. Where is RTS? Now with RTS, we know PRS. PRS is the same as that, is 36 degrees. Why? Because PS subtends this angle, that is PQS, and subtend the same. So angles subtended by the same chord are equal. So we say that we can say PRS is equals to that 6 degrees. So you say subtended by PS. So if that is this angle here, then we can look at, we can say RTS. RTS, we have this angle here. Before we go to RTS, this angle here is 18 degrees. Why? Because it QR subtend angle, this angle 18, so they are the same, subtended by the same. So we say QS R is equals to 18 degrees. So we can now get our, so we have this angle and this angle, so we can say that TS is equals to 180 minus 18 plus 36, and that should give you, these are degrees, don't forget to put that. That should give you, when you work out that, you should be able to get 126 degrees. So this angle here is 126 degrees, and you have the reason for that. Finally, we have let's use this. We have E, we have RSV. Now PSU, we have PSU is equals to 36. We can say 36 because external angle made by a chord with the tangent is the same as angle subtended at the circumference. So we can say PSU is equals to PRV. PRV is equals to, so this is 36. So if that angle is 36 and we are required to find RSU, so what we do is that this angle here, PSR, is 90 because it is subtended by diameter. So from 90, then we can be able to get the other angle. If this angle is 36, then it means this angle is 90. So RSV is equals to 90 minus 36 degrees, and that should give you 54 degrees. So that is how you do that. You can also say this angle, you can also say RSV is the same as the angle subtended by this chord here, which is 72 minus 18. You still be able to get 54. So that's how you work out that question. We had a limitation of space, but I hope you have followed, because I didn't want to do it in more than one page, so that you can be able to see what we are doing on this diagram. This diagram is very important. When you fill the information that you have, it helps you to be able to get the other unknown values or angles that you are required to work out. So I hope you have followed. This is question number 19, 2013 Kcse Mathematics paper 2. We are told complete the table below for y is equals to x cubed plus 4x squared minus 5x minus 5. So this you covered in form 4, form 3, further graphical methods. And here we have been given a table, the value of x, and the function y is equals to x cubed plus 4x squared minus 5x minus 5. You are supposed to fill the missing gaps here. You have minus 3. When x is minus 3, you have been given the value of y is 19. When x is 0, the value of y is minus 5. So what you do here is you take your calculator, and you can just substitute this directly. Therefore, you are going to feed, here you have been given y is minus 5. So you can use the brackets, that is, you put the bracket, you put minus, you say 5, minus 5, you close the bracket, you press the raising button, that is to put power, and that is raised to power 3. Then you add to 4. You put 4 plus 4, multiply by, you put the bracket, you say the value of x is minus 5, so you put minus 5, and you close the bracket, you minus, put 5, multiply by, put the bracket, minus 5, close the bracket, and finally you put minus 5. That should give you, when you put that, you should get minus 5. You substitute the same for 4, you should get 15. When you substitute for minus 2, you should get 13. When you substitute for minus 1, you get 3. When you substitute for 1, you get minus 5. When you substitute for 2, you get 9. You can use your calculator and do that, but be very careful, because if you mess up with one value, then you are not going to get the correct value. B, on the grid provided, draw the graph of y is equals to x cubed plus 4x squared minus 5x minus 5, for x is minus 5 less than or equals to, that is, x is less than or greater than or equals to minus 5, less than or minus or less than or equals to 2. This is called the range, and you'll be able to get. So when you fill these values, then you get 2 marks. Now I'm going to do that in another page, so that we have the grid provided. So let's go ahead and draw our graph using now the table that we have filled in here. So this is the grid that we are going to use. I've already inserted the table that we have filled in section A. The highest value of x is 2, the lowest is minus 5. The highest value of y is 19, the lowest is minus 5. So if we come to our graph here, we can say that is the starting point is 0. Then we can say this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is x-axis. Always remember to label your axis. You don't need to draw these lines to represent the axis, because already we have the grid. So here we have minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5. This we can use 5, we have 10, we have 15, we have 20, and this is our y-axis. This is minus 5, we have minus 10. So with that, we can now plot the points that we have. So we have when x is minus 5, y is minus 5. So that's how where we put our point. Always you can use a dot or you can use an x like that. Both are okay, whichever you are comfortable. But for me, I'm going to use the dots. When x is minus 4, y is 15. So that's where we have our point. When x is minus 3, y is 19. That's where we have 19. When x is minus 2, y is 13. So that's where we have our 13. When x is minus 1, y is 3. We have it there. When x is 0, y is minus 5. When x is 1, y is minus 5. And when x is 2, y is 9. Y is 9. That's where we have our 9. So we are going to join these points to come up with a graph which we are required to plot. So let's do that. When you are joining the point, you use your free hand. Don't use a ruler, and make your graph as smooth as possible so that you get the correct values. So this is the best graph I could come up with. I hope you can get better than that. So once you do this, you'll be able to get 3 marks here. So that's what you do. That's how you draw the graph. Part C, Roman number 1. Use the graph to solve the equation x cubed plus 4x squared minus 5x minus 5 is equals to 0. So you can see here y has been equated to 0. So we are supposed to find, so we can put here, we can y is equals to, we have x cubed, then we have plus 4x squared, then we have minus 5x minus 5. And the equation we are supposed to solve is 0. We can start with 0, x squared, x cubed, plus 4x squared minus 5x minus 5. So what we are supposed to do, y has been equated to 0. So we find what is x when y is equals to 0. We read the values of x when y is equals to 0. So that is y is 0 at the x-axis. So the first point here The small point represents 0.2. So 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8. The first value is minus 4.8. The other one, where the graph cuts the x-axis, 0.12, 0.4, 0.6 is minus 0.7. And the other value is, this is 1.5. So 1.5. So those are the values that satisfy the equation. So once you do that, you should be able to get 2 marks. You should be able to get these 2 marks. The last part of this question, by drawing a suitable straight line on the grid, solve the equation x cubed plus 4x squared minus 5x minus 5 is equals to minus 4x minus 1. Let's go back to our grid. So you can see here the equation that we are supposed to solve is x squared plus 4x squared minus 5x minus 5 is equals to minus 4x minus 1. So we can say y has been equated to minus 4x minus 1. This represents a linear graph, a straight line. So we need to find the value of x when y is equals to this. That is, we draw a line which cuts the values where, find the values where this line cuts our graph here, which is represented by this function. So to do that, we are going to make 3 points. So this is x and this is y. We say when x is minus 1, minus 4 times minus 1 is positive 4, minus 1, that gives you 3. When x is 0, this will be minus 4 times 0 is 0, minus 1, so y is minus 1. When x is 1, this will be minus 4 times 1 is minus 4, minus 1, that will give you minus 5. So we are going to identify these points. So when x is minus 1, y is minus 3. So that's where the point is. When x is 0, y is minus 1. We have it. When x is 1, y is 5. So what you do is you draw a straight line passing through these points and see how it looks like. So this is a graph that I have come up with. Okay, I had forgotten to label my graph. Always remember that. So it is minus 4x minus 1, and the other one is y is equals to x cubed plus 4x squared minus 5x minus 5. Very important, you label your graphs. Now, because we are supposed to solve the equation, we get the values of x where the two graphs cut each other. So the first one is 4. So it means x, it means here x is equals to minus 4. The other point that the two graphs cut each other is minus 1, and the other last point is 1. So these are the values that satisfy this equation here, which we have been told to solve, and that is how you work out that question. If you do that correctly, then here you'll be able to get 3 marks. You'll be able to get 3 marks. A very easy question if you do it correctly. The only part you need to be very careful is this part when you are filling the graphs, the table the values which you are going to use to plot the graph. Then the next important thing is you draw your graph as smooth as possible so that you get the correct values. I hope you have followed. This is question number 20, 2013 Kcse Mathematics paper 2. We are told the figure A, B, C, D, E, F below represent a roof of a house. AB is equals to DC. This is AB is equals to DC is equals to 12 centimeter. BC is equals to AD is equals to 6 centimeter. AE, this is AE is equals to BF is equals to CF is equals to ED is equals to 5 centimeter, and EF is equals to 8 centimeter. So those measurements have been indicated on the diagram. So part A, calculate correct to 2 decimal places the perpendicular distance of EF from the plane ABCD. So perpendicular distance is a distance from here to the plane ABCD. So what we do is we can draw a line here, there, which is to pass at the middle. Let's put it here. So that line passes at the middle, and then we drop a perpendicular line here, like that. We can label this part F, E, F, G. Let's label that this part point and this point H here. Now, since we are required to calculate the perpendicular distance, what do we know here? This side here is 5 centimeter. Now, if we draw another line here, let's draw another line here. Since we have EF is 8 centimeter and AB is the length is 12 centimeter, it means if we can drop another line here, another perpendicular line here, let's put it like that. What this means that is this is 2, and this is also 2, and this is 8. Now, to get the perpendicular, what we need, this is a right angle here. So we can use this side here, because this is 3 and this is 3. So we can use 3 and 5 to get EH, and then from there we can use EH to get the perpendicular height. So we can come here and say, let's say we say EH is equals to the square root, because it is a right angle triangle, of 5 squared minus 3 squared is equals to the square root of 25 minus 9 is equals to the square root of 16, which is equals to 4. So it means that this side here is 4. If this side is 4 and this is 2, then it means the height that we are looking for, which we can say height is equals to, this is a right angle, so it is the square root of 4 squared minus 2 squared. So this is equals to square root of 16 minus 4 is equals to the square root of 12, which you can get using your calculator, and you'll be able to get 3.46 meters. So the height, the perpendicular height from EF to the plane ABCD is 3.46 meters. So that's how you work out that. The second part, so this is, we can say this is A. So let's come to B. We just use this, so we can just use here. Calculate the angle between the planes AB, the plane ADE. Where is our ADE? This is ADE and ABCD. So the angle between these two planes is actually this angle here. And since we have these measurements, we can say the cosine. We can say cosine is we say it is cosine is adjacent of hypotenuse is the cosine of let's call it theta is equals to adjacent is 2 divided by 4 is equals to a half. So you use your calculator now and now get cos inverse of a half. So you press the inverse button, you press cos, that will give you cos inverse, and you put 0.5, and you'll be able to get theta here is equals to 60 degrees. So the angle here is 60 degrees. So that's how you get that. Problem number 2, the line AE. This is AE and the plane ABCD correct 1 decimal place. So the angle between the line AE and the base, that is ABCD, is the angle between AE and its projection. So we can draw up a line here to represent the projection, which you come and touch that. So that is a projection. It will be, that is, if you drop E, it will fall onto G here. So the angle that we are required to find is this one. And how do we do that? We have already found this is 3 point. This is 3 point. This is the square root of 12, which we have found is equals to 3.46 here. So we can use root 12. I've put root 12 so that, because this is approximated, so that we'll be able to get a better or exact value. So we can say that angle, we use sine. Sine of this angle is opposite of a hypotenuse. So we can say sine, let's call it alpha, is equals to, opposite is root 12. You divide by the 5. You divide by 5, and when you get when you divide that, then you get it is 0.6928. So you can now get sine inverse of 0.6928, which you can use your calculator and say, you just say sine inverse. You press the inverse button and you write 0. Actually, you can put the bracket and say the square root of 12 divided by 5, and you put the bracket, and that will give you the angle 43 is equals to 43.9, and this is to 1 decimal place, as we have been told here. So you get 2 marks by doing that. Then we have the plane. You get the angle between the plane ABEF. This is ABFE. This plane here, ABFE, and DCFE. So actually, the angle that we are required to find here is this angle here, angle between that is angle the angle AE. So we can say what we say, since we can be able to calculate half of this angle and we multiply by 2, so we can say the tangent of angle, we can actually call it AEH. AEH is equals to, that is that angle, you multiply by 2 so that we get the whole angle, which you get, it is 2 multiplied by tan inverse of this angle, which we say it is tangent of this angle is opposite of adjacent. So you say it is opposite. This is the opposite, that is this is 3, and this is the height is 12. So what we do is we get it is equals to tan inverse of 3 divided by root 12, which you'll be able to get, it is 2 multiplied by 40, that is the tan inverse of this, 40.89, which you get it is equals to 8, these are degrees, 81.8 degrees. So the angle between these is actually the angle between the 2 points. So that is how you work out that question. You did this in Form 4. I think the topic known as 3 dimension, that is where you covered that in Form 4, and I hope you have followed. So you should be able to work out angles between the plane, angles two planes, angles between a plane and a line. and that should be easy for you. So this is question number 21, 2013 Kcse Mathematics Paper 2, Part A. Complete the table below, giving the values correct to one decimal place, and you'll get 2 marks. So here we have given a row representing x degrees from 0 up to 240. Here we have a function 2 sine into bracket x plus 20 degrees. So you are given the values, some values, and we have root 3 cos x, and we have some values. So you are supposed to complete this. So what you do here is you just take your calculator. This value here is missing, so you just put 2, the sign. Since the value of x is 40 here, so 40 plus 20 is 60. So you say it is 2 sine 60, and you'll be able to get 1.7. So here we have 1.7, and that is to one decimal place as indicated. We come to this value. Here we are supposed to say to put root 3 cos 80, because x is 80. So you say root 3 cos 80, and when you do that, you will be able to get 0.3 to one decimal place. Here you say 2 sine 140, so that is 120 plus 20. So you write 2 sine 140, and that should give you 1.3 to one decimal place. Here you are supposed to write to get root 3, the cosine of 160. That should give you, you'll be able to get minus 1.6 to one decimal place 2. And here you have 200, so it is 200 plus 20 is 220. So it is 2, the sign of 220, and that should give you minus 1.3 to one decimal place. Finally, you get root 3, the cosine of 240. So we have root 3, the cosine of 240, and that should give you minus, that is, let's do it again, the root 3 cosine of 240, and that should give you minus 0.9 to one decimal place. So with the help of a calculator, you should be able to fill this table easily. Part B of the question: on the grid provided, using the same scale and axis, draw the graph of y is equals to 2 sine x plus 20 and y is equals to the root of cos x, root 3 cos x for the range x is greater or equals to 0, x is less than or equals to 140. And here you get 5 marks. So let's do that on a grid in another page, so that will be, because here we don't have enough space. So this is the grid that I'm going to use to plot the two graphs. Actually here we should have y is equals to, so the highest value of y is 1.7 in the first one, and lowest is minus 2. The other one is, the highest is 1.7, the lowest is minus 1.6. So on the grid, we can say, if that we take that as our starting point, we put this is 1 and this is 2, and we say this is our y-axis. On the other side we have minus 1 and we have minus 2. The y-axis, we can say, the x-axis, you can say 40, from 0 to 240. This is 80, this is 120, this is 120, we have 160, we have 200, we have 240. Always plan your scale, these are degrees. Always plan your scale to maximize the use of the space, and that is the one that will enable you to get correct values. So this is the value of x. Now we start with the first one. When x is 0, y is 1.7. So the 1.7, this is 1.5. 1.7 is that point. Let's use 1.7 is there. You can use a dot or you can use an x like that, whichever you find convenient. I'm going to use dots. When x is 40, y is 1. I think here we are. When x is 0, y is 0.7. So that's where we have 0.7. When x is 40, it is when x is 1.7. When x is 80, y is 2. When x is 120, y is 1.3. 1.3 is there. When x is 160, y is 0 there. When x is 200, y is minus 1.3. Minus 1.3 should be there. When x is 200 and when x is 240, you get y is minus 2. So we join these points to come up with a graph. Use your free hand and make your graph as smooth as possible. So this is a graph. You should come up with something similar to this or better than this. And this is a graph of y is equals to the sine of x plus 20. These are degrees. So the other one is we plot the graph of the other one. So when x is 0, y is 1.7. Y is 1.7. Y x 1.7. So 1.7 should be there. When x is 40, y is 1.3. 40, 1.3 should be there. When x is 80, x is y is 0.3. When x is 120, y is minus 0.9, which is there. When x is 160, y is minus 1.6 there. When x is 200, y is the same as 1.6 again. And when x is 240, y is minus 0.9. Minus 0.9. So you join these points using your free hand to come up with the graph of the function y is equals to the root of cos x. So let's do that. So this is a graph that you come up with, or something better than this. This is a graph of y is equals to root 3 the cosine of x. So that's a graph. So with that now, we should be able to answer the next question you are asking this question. So let's see what we are required to do. So going back to the question, we are told use a graph drawn in B above to determine the values of x for which 2 sine x plus 20 is equals to the root 3 cos x, and you get 2 marks. Going back to the question, we are told Roman number 2, what's the difference in amplitude of y is equals to sine x plus 20 and y is equals to the root of cos x? So we need to go to the graph, to go back to the graph that we have, graphs that we have drawn, so that we get the solution of this. So let's do that. Here we are supposed to get the difference in amplitude of y is equals to 2 sine x plus 20 and y is equals to root 3 cos x. You get 1 mark. So the amplitude is the maximum height, the maximum in term from the x-axis, the maximum height. So we can say the maximum height here of the first one is 2. You minus the other one. You can either use this part, but you take the magnitude, or you can use this one. But here it is showing, because there is a curve, you can get the maximum. It is 1.7, which you get, it is 0.3. So the difference in amplitude is equals to 3. That is, this is the amplitude. This is the amplitude from x-axis, the maximum, and the other one is this one. This is the maximum height. The maximum height. So this is what we are saying. This is 2 and this is 1.7, and therefore the difference is 0.3. And there you get 1 mark. So this that's how you do that question. If you just follow it's a very easy question. If you just follow the process correctly, you should be able to score 10 marks. I hope you have followed. This is question number 22. 2013 Kcse Mathematics Paper 2, and we are told 3 quantities R, S, and T are such that R varies directly as S and inversely as the square of T. Given that part A, given that R is equals to 480 when S is equals to 150 and T is equals to 5, write an equation connecting R, S, and T. So from the statement here, this question is from form 3, that is in variation. We can be able to get the equation. So we use the first statement. We say R, we are told R is directly proportional to S and inversely proportional to T squared. So that is what this statement here says, from here. That is what the statement. So we can be able to write this as an equation. R is equals to K S, you divide by T squared. So we can substitute and say, make K the subject. K is equals to R multiplied by T squared, you divide by S. Since we have been given the value of R is 490, which is equals to 480, you multiply by T is 5, so 5 squared, and you divide by S. Our S is 150. 150, which you'll be able, if you use your calculator, you'll be able to get 80. So this means K is equals to 80, and therefore now we can write this equation. R is equals to 80. That is K S divided by T squared. So that is the equation connecting R, S, and T. We go to part B. Find the value of R when S is 360 and T is 1.5. Since we have obtained our equation in part A, R is equals to 80. That is K. S is 360, you multiply by 360 and you divide by 1.5 squared. You can still use here, you will use your calculator and you will be able to find that this is 12,800. So there you get 2 marks. Roman number 2, we are told find the percentage change in R if S increases by 5% and T decreases by 20%, and you get 4 marks. So we can say the new R, we use R, that is R with prime, is equals to, now we have K, then S has increased by 5, so it is 1.05 of the old, this is 5 of the old S. So S has increased by 0.5, so it is 1, or we can say 105 divided by 100, that is Stamper's percentage, and the T has decreased by 20%, so it will be 0.8 or 80%, which is 80 over 100 of the T, and this is squared, which you can say now you have 1.05 K S, you divide by you divide by, when you square 0.8, you get 0.64 t squared. You divide 1.05 by 0.64, you'll be able to get, that is 1.64, that is to 2 decimal place of Ks, you divide by t squared. So you realize here, this part here is the same as our r here. They are the same here. So what you do is you say r, the new r will be 1.64 of the old r, implying that r has increased by 64%. So that's how you work out that question. You get 4 marks in the first part, the 2 marks in the second part, and 4 marks in the third part. And you have to show the working that I have indicated here, because you don't just give the answer. You show the working, the marks are awarded method and the answer. So I hope you have followed that. So question number 23, we are told the equation of a curve is given by y is equals to 5x minus a half x squared. On the grid provided, draw the curve of y is equals to 5x minus a third x squared and a half x squared for x less than 6. So we have 3 marks there. The first thing you do is to prepare a table which will help us to be able to put the values of x and the values of y. So this is a table that I'm going to use. You can just draw it using your free hand. You don't have to use a ruler. Just drawn like that for my own convenience. So here I'll put my x. X you start. I'll start from 0. That is we have 1, we have 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then we have here I'll use 5x, so I'll multiply 5 times x, that will be 0. 5 times 1 is 5, 5 times 2 is 10, 15, 20, 25, and we have 30. And then we have here I'll put a half x, that is a half x squared. So I'll square the x and multiply by a half minus a half, so that will give me 0. Then you have minus 1 squared is 1 times minus a half, that will give you minus 0.5, so that is 0.5. This will give you minus 2. This will give you 4.5. This will give you 8. This will give you 12.5. This will give you 18. After that, then we get the value of y, which now is 5x minus that, and this will give me 0. This is 4.5, that is 5 minus 0.5. This will give me 8. This is 10.5. This is 12. This is 12.5, and this gives me 12. So these are the values that I need to plot my graph. So I'll go to the grid and plot the graph. So this is a grid that I'm going to use to plot my graph. I've already inserted my table, so I'll start from here, the origin. So we have 0, can put our 0 there. Then we can say this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, 4, 5, we have can put 6 and 7. So that is my x-axis, and then we have the y-axis goes up to we can put up to 13. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that will be enough. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and we have 14. So that is my y-axis. And from the table, when x is 0, y is 0. So I'll have my point there. When x is 1, y is 4.5. So for 4.5, I'll put it there. When x is 2, y is 8. So 8 is there. Then you have when x is 3, it's 10.5. So 10.5, I'll put it there. Then we have when x is 4, y is 12. So that's where we have 12. When x is 5, it is 12.5. So that's where we have 12.5. When x is 6, y is 12. So we have our points. So what remains is to join these points to come up with the graph. So using your free hand, you join the points and you come up with a graph. Y, that is y is equals to 5x minus a half x squared. So in this case, always remember to label your axis and your graph so that you don't lose marks. So let's go back to the question and see what is next. So part B, you are told by integration, find the area bounding the curve, the x is equals to 6 and the x-axis. So to integrate, that is this is part B of the question. We integrate, then our limit is from 0 to 6. We integrate 5x minus a half x squared, and this is with respect to dx, which will give you now this will be 5x, this is 5x squared divided by 2 minus x to power 3 divided by 2 times 3, that will give us 6, and then that will give you the limits are from 0 to 6. When you integrate that, then you substitute, you should be able to get this is 5 multiplied by 6 squared divided by 2 minus 6 cubed divided by 6, and you close the bracket, minus, when you substitute 0, you get it is 0, so that will be minus 0 is equals to this will give you 90 minus 36, which will give you 54 square units. So that's the area by integration. So from there we are told on the same grid as in A, draw the line of y is equals to 2x. So we go back to our grid and we draw this graph. So the graph that we are supposed to draw is y is equals to 2x. So we just need to make a table here with 3 points. So we have x and y. Can say when x is 0, y is 0. When x is 1, y is 2. And then when x is 2, y is equals to 4. So we locate these 2 points. So we have 0, 0. When x is 1, y is 2. When x is 1, y is 2. When x is 2, y is 4. So we are going to join these points to come up with a graph of this y is equals to 2x squared. So when you join the points using a ruler, because it is a linear graph, this is a graph that you come up with. That is a graph of y is equals to 2x. So that is the graph that we have. So we go back to the question and find the next question. So now we are required part C, Roman number 2, determine the area bounded by the curve, and the line y is equals to x. You get yourself 3 marks. So we already got the area bounded by the curve, which we got it is 54. And for us to be able to understand that better, let's go back to our graph and see how the area, we should calculate the area. So the area that we are required to get is this area here, bounded by the curve y is equals to 5x minus a half x squared, and we have the y is equals to x. So we already got the area under y is equals to 5x minus a half x squared is equals to area we got, it is 54 square units. So we need to find the area bounded by the curve. That is this includes all the area down to x-axis. So we need to find the area under the curve y is equals to 2x, and we subtract from this area so that we are left with this area that I'm shading here. So what we do is we integrate 2x, that the limits are 0 to 6. This will give you that will be, when you integrate, that will be x squared. Limit is 0 to 6 is equals to this will give you 36, that is x squared minus 0. So that is the area square units. Once you get that area, then you say shaded area, which is area that we want, area is equals to 54 minus 36, which will give you 18 square units. So that is this area, the one that I'm shading here. We get the area under this curve, and we subtract the area under this curve, and we'll be left with this area. So this is the area that is 18 square units. So that is how we work out that question, and by reaching that point, you get yourself full. This is question number 24, and we are told the table below shows marks scored by 42 students in a test. So we have the table showing the marks of the 42 students. So A, starting with the mark of 25 and using equal intervals of 10, make a frequency distribution table. So frequency distribution table, we have a column of class, we have the column for frequency, and we have the class for cumulative frequency. So we need 3 columns. So what we do, you can just make a simple table using your free hand. You don't need to use a ruler, so you just make a table like the one that I'm preparing here with 3 columns. So you have that is the heading, where we have the class. This is frequency, and this is cumulative frequency. So we are going to start with the first one. So let's have the row there, and we are supposed to start with 25. So across interval of 10, you have 25 to 34. So we count how many marks were in between 25 and 34. So we check in our table. Between 25 and 34. This is 1, 25 and 34. Okay, 25 and 34. That's another one. 25 and 34. That's another one. This is another one. So there are 4, and therefore we can make the frequency is 4. We make another row here for the next class, and this class will have 35 to 44. So we check the marks that are in between. 35 and 34. So that is 1, 35 and 34, 35 to 44, 35 to 44. This is another one, 35 to 44. This is another one, 35 to 44. This is another one, 35 to 44, 35 to 44. This is another one. So how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the frequency here is 5. So that's how you do that. Let's go to then the next class. The next class we put a column there. Then we say this is we have 45 to 54, 45 to 54, and therefore we get marks which are between 45 and 54. 45 and 54, that is 1. 45 and 54. This another one. 45, another one. 45 to 54. 54. This another one. That's another one. 45 to 54. 35 to 54. This another one. This another one. 45 to 54. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do we have another one? 45. 45. Let's check again. 45. We have another one. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think there are 8. So we put 8 there. We put another column, another row here, which is we say it's 55 to 64. So we get those values that are in between 55 to 64. 55. So we have 1, 2, 55 to 64. That is 2, 3, 64. 5. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6. We have 7. We have 64, 7, 8. We have 9. We have 10. We have 10. Let's see whether we have another one which we have left out. 64. 64. That's another one. So 11. 64. 64. 64. Let's see. 64. Do we have another one? Do we have another one? 64. We have another one there. So there are 12. So you come here and you write 12. The next class is we put that is between this is where we have 65 to 74. 65 to 74. So 65 to 74, we have 1. We have 1. We have 60. We have another one, 2. We have another one, 3. We have another one, 4. 4. We have another one, 5. We have another one, 6. We have 7. We have 8. We have 9. At here 9. So we come and put here 9. Okay, so we put another row, which is another row, and this row now you have 75 to 84. So we get those values between 75 to 34. So we have this one, 1 to 84, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There are 3. The ones I can see, there are 3. So we come here and put 3. We put another row here, and we say this is a class of 85 to 94. So 95. I think that is we can use this one. We use that is one. We have another one. And I think we have marked all of them. So we have one. So that is a cumulative. That is those are the frequencies, the number of times the data appear in within this class. Cumulative frequency, we add up the frequency. So we say it is 4. 4 plus 5 is 9. Plus 8 you get 17. Plus 12 you get 29. Plus 9 you get that 8. That 8 plus 3 you get 41. 41 plus 2 you get 42. So that is a cumulative. That is a frequency distribution table. If you are able to do that, then you'll be able to get 2 marks. We look at part B. On the grid provided, draw the ogive for the data. And here you are supposed to get 4 marks. This is 4 marks. So we are going to use a grid to plot this the graph. So let's do that. So this is part B. We are supposed to draw the ogive. So ogive, we use the upper class boundary and the cumulative frequency. So we can come here and say this is we say this is a starting point. So we can start from 0. Let's use a more brighter color. We start from 0. Here we say it is 10. We say it is 20. We say 30. We say 40 and 50. So that is our y. This is our cumulative frequency. Then the upper class boundary of this class, we start with 24.5. So that we have, it does not start from 0. We put a zigzag line here and we say this is 24.5. Then the next one is 34.5. So we have 44.5, 54.5, 64.5. These are the points. We have them there. We have 74.5. That's 0.5. 84.5, and we have finally we have 94.5. If you have more space in your graph, then you can use two big squares, but I seem to be limited with space. So with that now, this is upper class boundary. So we now start with what we have, 24.5. So that's where we start. When it comes to that 4, we got 4. So we two small squares. One small square represent 2. We come to, as I have it there. We have 4. This is 4. Cumulative frequency is 4. Then you can use a dot or a square. 44, we have 9. So 9 is there. Then we have 54.5. We have 17. This is 18. So 17 is there. We have the next one is 29. This is 29. We have the next one is 38. So that the 8 is there. That the 8. We have the next one is 41. 41 is there in between, and we have 94, which is we got it's 42. So it's there. So you join this from 0. There you join these points and come up with the ogive, which should look like a stretched S, or we call it elongated S. So let's draw that. You use your hand, make your graph as smooth as possible. So this is the graph that I have come up with, which we are referring as ogive. The shape is like an elongated S or a stretch S. And now with that, you make your graph as smooth as possible. I have said you don't use a ruler, so it should look better than what I have here. So let's go to part C of this question. So this is a part C. Using the graph in B, which I have already inserted here above, estimate the median mark. So we found that the total frequency is 42. So it means the median mark is at, you divide by 2, the median mark should be at 21. So what you do is you take a ruler and you get the value that corresponds to, or the marks that corresponds to 21. So using 21 is here. So you place your ruler there, and you'll be able to get the median mark. So you put it there. This is where it corresponds with that, and you draw it there. So that is the median mark, and that is this is 54. Because they are 10, it means that this represents 2. So it is this is 56.5 plus 1, 57.5. So we say we come here and say median is equals to 57.5, and you can say plus or minus 0.5, so that you accommodate for the error. Then the upper quartile. The upper quartile is the 3/4. So you say 42, you multiply by, you divide by 4, and you multiply by 3. And that will give you, when you divide like that, you divide, this is 1, this is 1, 0, point 20, you get 5. So when you multiply by 5 there, you'll be able to get, this is 5, 15 carry 1, this is 0 plus 1, we have 1, and this is 3, so 31. So the upper quartile is at 31. So what you do, you just do the same with you identify that 31.5, which is roughly there. Let's correct that, which is 0.5. You get, it's around there, then you drop to get the value, and that this will give you, this is 66.5. So you say this is now this is 66.5 plus or minus 0.5, the error, you accommodate the error. So that is a upper quartile mark, and that is how you do that question for you to be able to get 10 marks. So I hope you have followed. You can try other questions in your, from your exercise books, from your textbook, or from other past papers, and I hope you have understood.